Does it say live yet?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Brilliant. So welcome. I'm just going to check it on my thingy. I've got your bio here. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. So our guest today is Nusken. Lost your bio. Here we go. A verified Kruger ranked agent and an Ibis Theta Echo 4C survivor with first-hand experiencing Nacht, Waffen, Kruger core, bringing an insider perspective of some of the most secretive and controversial special access programs on Earth and beyond. So, true history of Das Bundes and so much more. I don't even know where the real bio's gone now. How are you, Nuskin? What's going on with you?
Just the usual. I'm busy with work, trying to make ends meet, all that fun stuff. But tons of recall coming in as always. Visions, memories, all that.
That's really positive. So we're going to take questions from the live chat today. So hopefully people will start joining us. I see James Whitkiss is already in the chat. Hi, James. So you guys can put your questions in the chat for Nuskin, and we will try and get through as many questions as we possibly can, and see how much fun we can have in the next hour or so. So what's the latest recall that you've had coming in?
It's all over the place. I mean, there's that kaleidoscope vision. There's, I guess, everything I've been doing in between missions and stuff up there. Then, I guess, random field trips out there, Orion War stuff, just the usual, but all mixed.
So what can you tell us about the Orion Wars?
Well, with the Weirns, I starting to remember a bit more of that and how things went with that past life when they came down here. That one's been interesting, but I keep on getting cut off or blocked from the rest of it.
So you're getting that kaleidoscope vision. Is that like time travel missions are happening when you get that?
Something like that. But I don't think it was time traveling for the one I saw. I think it was like the Arasaka tech just showing me things, I guess.
Okay, so inside like a tech facility, like or a clone lab.
Um, it came up as I mean, like a kaleidoscope vision, but with all the parts where you see all the screenshots or like still points in time, memories, it was just rotating through all of them all at once.
Okay, that's super cool. So we've got Nathan Wasty Rich Fox in the chat, and he's also in Canada. He's also a super soldier. So, guys, if you've got questions for Nuskin, please pop them in the chat. We're going to focus on your questions today. Nuskin has a really varied range of knowledge. Yeah, any contact with Matthias lately? Your primary?
Um, not really. No, I mean there's a whole bunch a while back, but as far as I know, he might be back in stasis again.
So you put a post on Facebook about Kruger, and I put a comment on that, and you're putting about basically how dangerous it is to go digging into Kruger, and I've noticed that too because whenever I do anything with Sean Bond and it's a Kruger thing, he like checks there's a warning label on the files, and they say warning of death. Basically, if I start to open that information. So what's going on with Kruger? Why is it so dangerous for us to look into it right now?
Well, the thing is with Kruger core, I mean, the thing is with a relationship between Knockwaffen and Kruger. In the case of the officers, in Matthias's case, because the officer commanded the Kruger squads, that usually Knockwaffen wouldn't be assigned the more dangerous stuff like the bounties or anything. That would go straight through Kruger. So basically, by putting some of the information out there, it could be possible that like a rogue sentinel, for example, could use that information against Kruger Core, Knockoff, or Das Bundes, or Galaxy, Universe at Large, and stuff like that. I mean, it's not so much bad to talk about Kruger. I mean, I don't mind talking about it, but like going like deep into it would probably ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've noticed that I've got a connection to South Africa. And so I started to look into that like connection there. And I've got two memories that came in when I met somebody in December, and I saw that we were definitely mercenaries in South Africa, but that's all on planet. And you don't have a lot of on planet memory, do you? Is it mainly off planet?
Yeah, unless it's SRA or New Schwabenland, I don't have much memories on planet.
Yeah.
If it was all on planet SSP wise, it was all Antarctica. There was virtually nowhere else on Earth for me but there.
So I had a lady on recently who's a psychic channel, Helena, and she said Antarctica is in like a higher density, and there's loads of things going on there, like ET outposts are there, there's houses, there's communities. Did you see anything like that?
I did see the ruins when I was working in Waffen down there, but it was mostly just the bases that I saw, or I guess what they built after World War II.
Okay. So what about ETs on the planet? What did you see around there?
Sakar for sure. Yeah, I mostly saw them down there. I didn't see anybody else.
Okay, so we don't have any questions in the chat yet. People are not brave enough to question you. Is there something that you are really confident to talk about? You'd love for them to ask you any questions about like what's going on in the world right now. You've got opinions about so it's really noisy here, about the meat that's in the food now, the human meat or anything like that you want to talk about?
Um, well, there's that deep green protein stuff out there that we had instead of red meat. I mean, if they ever brought that down here, I mean, we wouldn't have to farm livestock or anything. But that also put hundreds of billions out of the food industry too. So, um,
Yeah. So there's a question in the chat from James Whitkus, and he's saying, around how big is the size and scope of Kruger's operations?
um, all over the place. I mean, like just from their office in New Atlantis. I mean, their skyscraper goes at least I don't know, like 130, 140 stories off the ground. It's pretty much like the Burj Khalifa or whatever it's called in Dubai, but it's basically a glass Twizzler going up in the sky. I mean, that's just one of their offices. I can only imagine New Karelia, for example, or anywhere else. As for scope, well, like I said, I mean, Doc Waffen used to give Kruger their more complicated missions, like getting their hands dirty and everything else. So in terms of that, I mean, there's technology development, there's contracts, there's bounty hunting, security, yeah, all sorts of stuff. I mean, Kruger is definitely one of the big companies out there. That's for sure.
Okay, James has got a follow-up question about any updates on the Mitra War.
From what I know, the last one I got was August or September. But then again, my theory on that one is that I could have potentially been cut off temporarily or quantum wise from that altar or secondary out there because back in October I did have one memory come back of a crash landing in a ship, trying to get the survivors all together, retrieve a blue orb data core, then coming back here and what I could best describe as the pain wheel because these navigators and stuff out in Waffen, they had to be able to teleport from A to B or for time shifts universes, something to that effect. Technically, I do know how to use it, but I was not genetically prepared for it or something. And I did manage to make it to the other end with all the survivors and stuff, but it was basically like the medieval pinwheel torture, basically, where all the limbs get like stretched and all that. Kind of pretty much that sort of feeling go for the event horizon from A to B. And since then, I haven't really had any updates on the My Tray, but from all the stuff I had from before, it was going pretty bad.
So we're live streaming, but I forgot to record, so I can cut some shorts as well. What do you know about your genetics?
Like ET wise or like down here wise?
Yeah, both, either. Yeah. So what makes you like so special that you've got like off-world versions?
ET wise, Lyran, Pleiadian, some water world, I think. I can't remember the rest
Like
offhand.
Mintaka, because I've been really drawn to Mintaka as well. And that's a water, or it used to be a water planet, I think.
I'd have to look into it, but
Okay.
down here, mom's side of family, all French and Cree, Native American, and dad's side of family, Anglo-Saxon, basically German, English, or actually Scottish.
That's cool. Okay. What advice do you have for people who are thinking about trying to find out about their SSP memories?
Akashic is a good one. Yeah, Akashic, recall materials, some video games here and there. There's also plant medicine, but I
Tell us about the
don't
video
really
games. So what video games do you think are activating? And if you've got TV and movies, share those as well.
Well, I mentioned the V series and stuff before for TV shows, but games wise, the newest Wolfensteins all have the material from Knockoff and from earlier time periods. Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, those two. Mirror's Edge Catalyst, that one goes directly with Kruger. Mass Effect. That's all I can think of offhand. Starfield, that's a big one. Yeah.
So I'm not big into games, but I know that there's a character of me in two different video games. One is Final Fantasy VII. I've got a character in that, and the other one is the Sakura Wars. I've got a character in that as well. So, and they're definitely like mind control stuff going on. So I'm just putting in. How's your targeting lately?
It's eased, but still feeling it here and there. Financially still being targeted quite a bit, but I've noticed an uptick of just running into people. Most of them seem completely off, as if I'm being followed or surveilled. I guess it wasn't good enough to remote view, so I guess we're wasting people's money and time, sending them chasing me halfway across the city.
Yes. Why do you think they're targeting you? What do they think that you know, that you remember, or whatever?
Well, I mean, outside of the SSP and the SRA, I mean, the thing is, I did try to buy into the QAnon stuff in the past, but unfortunately, that seems to have completely blown up. I mean, fortunately, I can't really keep on going with that because of everything that's come out recently. And of course, there's other people in the SSP community that unfortunately haven't pulled the entire curtain back on the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, you say? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, in the movie,
Yeah.
where they pulled back the curtain of this guy on
Right.
the.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm really distracted because it's 11 o'clock and I've been up since 5 a.m. So in the chat, they're basically saying that Doom is a good game, No Man's Sky, the thing, and Halo is a good game too. So you played those as well.
I do know of them, but unfortunately, growing up during the Halo era in the 2000s, all I had was like family PC, and I barely played anything at all. So I did miss out on a lot of the video games back then. Still catching up.
When we did our session, was it like 2 weeks ago? And I kind of tuned into your targeting. When I woke up the next day, I couldn't get out of bed. I literally could not get out of bed, and I got like crashed out for like an extra 10 hours or something. I felt like I was drugged, is how I felt. And Cole says in the chat, she says that she's still waking up drunk. Right, so it's that over. I coined it the sleep trap in the end, the sleep trap, and I did a diary video about it because I woke up, but I was so like intoxicated with whatever, and I just had to fall back to sleep. And I know that you suffer with that as well at times, don't you? So it's a level of targeting for sure, and it's out there in the collective now. Because when you used to talk about it, I thought maybe it was just a you thing, working like 3 different jobs or whatever, but it's not. It's targeting in the collective field. Right, and everybody's noticing it now. So how are you still having trouble with that kind of thing?
Oh yeah. Plus, unfortunately, with everything else going on, I mean, I try and scrap and salvage refurb electronics, but the thing is, I don't have a car, so I have to do all this by bus, and that easily takes up pretty much my days off, or at least 3 to 4 hours a night sometimes.
Yeah, so yeah, Tiffany's saying that happened to her as well. Friday and yesterday, she couldn't get out of bed. So there's like a level of targeting on the planet, which is getting more and more used now. Okay, there's a question from James and Jason saying, what's the most advanced race that you've interacted with?
Advanced. I mean, there's Palladians. Sakara is always a big one. We're refugees. I definitely saw some advanced stuff there. Maitre.
You know,
those are all.
John Whitberg, he says the Palladians don't exist. He says there's nothing there, and that he believes that they're just off-world Germans. How do you feel about that?
Like when I refer to the Palladians, I refer to them as how they showed up during the Orion Wars. Since then, maybe they moved up to 5D or something. That could be entirely accurate too, but that's how I refer to the Palladians, whatever I remember from Orion Wars, because in the current here and now, I have not met them. It was just during the Orion Wars era where I did.
So are you familiar with the Black League, the rebels from the Orion Wars? You heard that term?
Black League.
Yeah.
I might, but I probably.
Okay, I think it's kind of us. I think we may be the Black League. We're the rebels that have come here after the war or something. And we get targeted for that. Okay. There's a question from Cole. I'm just trying to see what that relates to. She's put about plasma. I don't know why I'm asking, but what are you asking, Cole? So, have you seen plasma technology, plasma weapons? What can you tell us about plasma?
Weapons, yes. Energy, here and there. I think there's like plasma health injections or something. I don't know too much about that. It's out there.
So, so the versions of you that are out working in the colonies, what do they do? Let's just fill everybody in and let them know what would you do on a daily mission or whatever. I know we've talked about it in the past, but just give everyone an idea about questions they can ask.
Well, as far as I know, currently Matthias has been put back in stasis, otherwise known as the ice box up there. The one that works with Kruger right now, working as a scientist day in, day out. Whereas Jaeger supposedly working the diplomatic side of things. Unfortunately, I've tried communicating with Jaeger in the past, but he thinks I'm a figment of his imagination, if I remember him correctly. So that hasn't bared fruit. Tarish Takama is one line KB, a Japanese breakaway. I mean, I think working the bounty side of things, but not for Kruger. I think for the Japanese equivalent, because I think they might have one too. Bell seems to be involved with tech repair or something else. There's
Maybe
also like the
tell us about the one that does the tech repair, because I'm sure I've seen a version of you like that. What do they look like? Do they look like you?
Kinda Japanese, darker hair. I guess same body type.
Yeah.
Uh,
How's your
I don't know.
Japanese?
I don't know too much about him though, but seems he's busy.
We've been working with this Japanese deck of cards, the yokai. So I've been having to practice Japanese to read out the phrases in the. So yeah, how's your language recall? Do you hear languages in your memories? Do you hear words?
Not Persian or Farsi, no, but I mean, Celestians keeps on coming up for some reason. My dad's side of the family was actually from Silesia before the Soviets forced them out west. I thought it was Bielsko Biela, Bielitz Biela, but it actually turned out to be Lubin or Lauban in Silesia,
Mm.
small town. A lot of information came up from the Polish state archives recently. I guess they started digitizing whatever the Soviets didn't take or Polish settlers didn't destroy in 1945. Did find quite a bit of information from that, and I guess maybe they knew of Silesian because the Silesian Germans used to speak German before 1945, but after that, maybe the Polish made them speak Polish Silesian instead.
Mm. That's really cool. There's a question in the chat from Entertainment Extreme Network to ask you about the CE5 app for making contact with aliens. Are you familiar with that CE5 protocols?
CE5, not really, no.
No, okay. Yeah, I've not done that either. They're literally like going outside and calling the ships towards them and things. Is that something that you think you might look into?
I know it's probably happened with me, but that's probably through the Arasaka or Psychic or something. I don't remember like pulling out a manual and just reading
Yeah.
like procedures on it.
Yeah, we had a question in when John Whitberg was doing his Q&A the other day, and it was hold on. It was, which ETs do you think are going to come to the planet first that will be able to sit in like a bar with and have a drink? Which ones are going to be like active, make first contact like that?
Well, I guess to answer that one first, supposedly the Germans and Japanese have a blockade going approximately 60 million kilometers off Ceres, and they're trying to basically either bottle it in or keep whoever is running the show down here from going out. And ET traffic and stuff has been completely stopped. Like, if anything's coming down here, it probably is going to be Germans or Japanese, like ET wise. I'm not sure if wider galaxy at large will be showing up here first.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, Japanese and Germans like to drink, so that probably would be
Okay,
it.
that's pretty cool. So there was another show on Starseed Netlink's channel today, and Arkim Ra was on there, and they were basically saying, why don't the ETs come in and intervene? Why don't they help us? And Arkim Ra was saying that there's groups of like black ops military on the planet that just are trained to track and trace and terminate aliens right now. Do you think that's true?
Yes, but there's also those same black ops are also probably wanting to keep a Sakaar and others out of here as well. So if if there were to be a rogue quote unquote asset causing certain issues out in the universe at large, those same Black Ops would likely be going after that person as well. So it wouldn't be so much to keep ETs off, but it would also to keep anyone in the line from causing any more mayhem that may potentially currently exist.
Yeah, we were in similar units as well to track people down who went rogue. So it's a question from Jane Celia Hatch, and she's saying, do you know anything about the Scottish Lauder family? Lauder. Her grandfather was a Canadian, and his last name is that Lauder or Lauder? Lauder.
I don't know that last name though.
Okay. Okay. So it's good to see Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot in the chat. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I did want to reach out to you. I was thinking about emailing you today, actually. So please pop your questions in the chat for Nusken. Any topics at all, we'll give it a go and see what we can bring up. Missing Time Jason 420 is saying, is there any spirituality in the space programs?
Shinto and Bushido for the Japanese, absolutely. As for the Germans, there's the polytheism, the gods, but I don't remember too much of that. I'm pretty sure I was a secular or atheist up there.
Yeah,
I know the Lyrans have like a spirituality and stuff too, like ET wise, but I can't remember the exacts. I think it was probably same lines as New Age esotericism and all that.
What about the Norse gods? They still follow Norse gods, right?
I mean, yes, but like for me personally, I didn't really do too much about the Norse mythology or anything.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just checking for any questions. If there's anything, please pop a message in. Here we go from Tiffany. What kind of tech do you see being released in the near future?
Storage tech.
As in like basement universe tech?
Not that far, but I mean, magnetic tapes that can hold tens of terabytes and everything else with the AI crunch on RAM and CPU and stuff. The only other outlet for that is to basically whip out and dust off all the magnetic drives and everything else from what we could have had in the 1960s, but what that was instead taken up by the ICC and by the Germans and the Japanese.
Yeah. So tell everyone a little bit about the ICC, and we've had a big drama lately about Pepsi, and I've got 1 trillion contracts to Pepsi. So on the other live, they're all Pepsi shaming me, saying that I need to stop drinking Pepsi because it's not good. And but yeah, tell us about the ICC and who makes up that conglomerate.
ICC, mix of American German corporations from before the 1960s, but de facto it is considered the breakaway American civilization before basically everything went to hell after the Vietnam War and the 1971 gold devaluation. Like pretty much imagine Americana before the 1970s, and the ICC is pretty much incarnate of that Americana sort of civilization from the United States before the 1960s, 1970s.
That's pretty cool. Thank you. So James Whitkiss is saying, do you ever have this experience when you're half awake, half asleep, just before you doze off, finding yourself in a tank or a chair someplace?
Chair, yes. Tank depends. Depends on memories or what happened with the other parallel timelines of me.
So what kind of chair was it? Was it like a technology chair or a regular chair? A time chair?
Not like a Montauk chair, time chair, no. It was probably normal chair.
Okay. Do you have any memories of Diego Garcia, the naval base?
The crabs. like those massive coconut crabs on the beach. Bunkers, yes. Anderson Air Force Base with the bowling alley and stuff. I think I saw once or twice.
Anything about like a huge tank with some kind of entity in it, and people would have to go and do a challenge in that?
Maybe one with a squid or something, but
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay, because I know James was talking about earlier, he put like a memory on Facebook about he'd woken up at Diego Garcia, but he was in a chair that he could control, and it's to do with time missions. But I've got a version of me in DG right now, and I don't remember this chair. I do remember the tank, but definitely not the chair. But I don't think I get to see much, to be honest. So Missing Time is asking about crystal and DNA storage. So what can you tell us about glass pads, crystal drives, and things like that?
I know of genetic DNA storage. Up until the time of birth, it is theoretically possible with certain DNA to remember the start of that person's life right up until about 9 months before birth, basically the time of conception, if I remember correctly. So I've had memories come through. I'm not sure if it was just astral or something else, but like stuff from my dad or my opa, my great opa. I mean, all I guess part of it might have been genetic memory.
Yeah, I totally believe in DNA memory for sure. Um, okay, I'm just checking the chat. They're talking about C5 protocols and calling in ETs. Have you ever noticed any ETs around you, like, sorry, ships in the sky that are moving, following you is coming to mind?
Uh, Not really. No, I mean glimpses here and there, but I haven't seen too much of that lately.
I had a black helicopter over my house within the last 2 weeks, and it literally shone lights in my eyes as it went past. It was that close. You had anything like that?
No. Like
Okay.
I mean, people follow me around and stuff around the city. I've had that, but not like a ET showing up with a ship or anything. No.
No, okay. James is saying about Diego Garcia, the little fiddler crabs are not what they seem to be. They have something to do with being part of some kind of field generator. Does that make sense to you?
There might be one underneath Diego Garcia, or maybe like a power source. Like maybe there's a fusion bomb or whatever God knows underneath that crater in the middle of Diego Garcia. But like for all I know, I mean I don't know too much about the crabs. All I remember is uh like it was Waffen and Kruger, I
Hmm.
guess down there, like just wasting time having smokes in between the pickups or whatnot, and then we just watch these crabs go off, hit up coconuts, maybe mock them or whatever. I
Hmm.
think one guy turned on his force field and decided to like go into like a bunch of them on the beach to see like what the hell would happen. I
Hmm.
mean, like all like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. There's a question from Jason saying, are the men in black associated with any faction?
Uh, uh, Probably Cabal, Majestic 12, best guess. I know the
Hmm.
ones in like silver jumpsuits are Time Corp, but that's all I know.
Silver jumpsuits. I've not seen that. That's cool. Okay. Um, TKB saying crabs and octopus have blue blood, and he's thinking, is that copper? So interesting conversations going on. Okay, conversations telepathically with one on the ship. So they're still talking about ships overhead. Okay, so any questions, guys? Please pop it in the chat for Nusken. And if anyone is lurking and they're not in the chat, please can you pop a message in because there's 18 people watching right now. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. You can support Nusken's work. You can send him a PayPal. So I'm going to pop that in the chat here as well. If his work's as beneficial for you guys in any way, please support him as much as you can. So let's see. So I was tuned into a Men in Black base in Italy when Sean Bond was working with me recently. Do you know anything about like European sites or sacred sites on this planet? Anything like that?
Um, European, there isn't really too much left. I mean, the cabal has pretty much locked them all down because they don't want Germans or Italians or anybody else trying to backdoor their way back in, especially considering that Germany had, I mean, 80 years after the Second World War, they're still pulling up, Nazi bunkers and everything else. I mean, it's absolutely kind of ridiculous how much we're still finding buried after 80 years. I mean, they actually pulled out like a Panther tank out of this pensioner's basement. I mean, like, there's still people down there that probably have control access over it, and the cabal wants to lock it down as much as humanly possible.
That's cool. So they're asking, did they have any pets or animals? Guess they're talking about off planet. What kind of pets do they have off world?
Cats and dogs are still prevalent. I'm not sure about like ET pets or anything though.
So Flix is saying, did your memories reveal a gift that you can use in the here and now, like telekinesis, for example?
I mean, I knew I had that ability up there, but down here I'm blocked off from it. Like, I can't bend water down here or teleport across wherever I please or any of that stuff.
Yeah. You know what? The teleportation thing drives me nuts because as a kid, I know that I should have been able to do it and it frustrated me. And every now and then I get that feeling come in. You're welcome, Jane. So, yeah, please pop your questions in. I did have something in my mind going, okay, so I've got this memory. I'm on a planet and I'm in a building and there's all glass windows around. And as I look out, there is the planet is kind of like beige or grey beige, but there's pyramids in the distance. It's definitely not this planet.
Sounds like Titan.
Sounds like Titan. Oh, yes. Okay, great. I'll write that down. So, okay. So this is, I had a memory I was a boy. Come in. It's been bothering me, that one. Thank you. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, James also gets frustrated about the teleportation. James and I are like super in sync at the moment. Do you know anything about Washington, about super strength programs or anything like that? So I know James has had a question about that recently.
Like Washington DC or like Washington the state?
DC.
I don't know about DC too much.
Okay. So do you want to tell us a bit about the sites that you do know, like in Canada and things? Whatever you can share that's not too like dark or...
If a Canadian-American border, right near the International Peace Gardens is a massive Freemason conference center, or I guess site for rituals. Before 9/11, all you needed to cross the border was a driver's license, no passport, no Nexus card, none of that stuff. So kids from Winnipeg or schools from Winnipeg would take these kids down for like band trips or whatever else. And I guess the same thing happened with North Dakota. If you were in, let's say, Grand Forks or Fargo, you go up to this place and just have, I guess, a couple of days worth of a field trip or something. That site was definitely one of the meeting places for the Freemasons. I guess for Manitoba, North Dakota, maybe South Dakota or Minnesota, for all I know. Winnipeg has a Freemason temple underneath their legislature. Edmonton supposedly has the same thing. Banff, Canmore, Fairmont Hot Springs, all entry points for Project Ibis.
That's amazing. They're talking about Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts. Are you familiar with that? Jane saying she
Bridgewater Triangle?
Yeah. No,
I mean,
I'm not.
Bridgewater, I think I do know Bridgewater, like for something else, but I'm not sure about the triangle specifically.
Okay.
But Boston was one of the main cities before the American Revolution. Main ports, MIT is based out of there. I mean, I would not be surprised that there's SSP sites or anything else around Massachusetts, especially.
There's also a comment about, are you familiar with, or do you know anything at all about Project Osiris?
Project Osiris. No.
No, okay, I've not heard of it either. Okay. Okay, so any information about putting celestial DNA in individuals while they were still in the womb. So some of us have these kind of, the god divinity hybridized in vitro. Do you know much about that? Do you know what
No.
gods you've been mixed with? Have you looked into that yet?
Not really. No. Like, I know for sure we're in DNA and all that, but like in terms of like gods, no idea.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, the ISIS project that you and I are more familiar with is not the Egyptian god one. It's something else. What happened in the ISIS project that you were in then? Do you know?
I mean, other than Casbolt enforcing things,
Oh,
I mean, there was.
are you okay to
I
talk
mean,
about
just
Casbolt?
random. Sorry.
Do you mind talking about him?
Maybe not
Okay.
today. No, it's just.
Yeah, that's okay. I understand. Yeah. I don't want to go there either. So I just wondered. Okay, so Curious Call is saying, are you referring to the Bunker Hill Monument by the Navy Court in Boston, courtyard in Boston?
Like,
Maybe.
I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about Boston. Like, all I know is just what I know, but I would
Yeah.
not be surprised with anything that might be in Boston, considering how long it's been there.
Okay. So have you been to oh god, they're trying to wipe my mind. The Monarch Dome in Toronto. Have you been to that facility?
I don't remember that one, but unfortunately, people I knew growing up have been there.
Yeah, I've also been there. Luckily, I don't have that many memories, but I spent most of my childhood there. Before moving on. So, Curious Call is saying, I randomly need to say thank you to my protectors. Do you work with any guides, guardians? Do you put any protections in place for yourself to try and stop yourself getting taken or targeted?
Valerian one, I mean, knows. Plus, there's all my stuff from some of my past lives. They've intervened a few times. SSP wise, occasionally they might intervene, but that's mostly just a case of a cabal. If I were to do anything to upset that balance, they might intervene against me. But I mean, I just do day-to-day survival, so this doesn't really come up that often.
Yeah, I'm also in like self-preservation mode of trying to stick to the routine. If I change my routine, then I know the target is going to come in. I'm going to get pain. I'm going to get brain fog and things like that. So I'm very institutionalized right now, right? Basically, because I've got a lot of clones who are handlers, and they're basically just saying to me, "Stick to the routine. Stick to the routine. You'll be fine." Which is quite sad. Okay. So, is there anything that no one has ever asked you and you're thinking, I just wish people had asked me this question? Just wish I had an opportunity to talk about this one thing.
Well, not many people asked me about New Atlantis or Titan or
I would love to
like
know about
how
those
things
places.
actually were down there.
Yeah, we've spoken about Titan a little bit in the past, but yeah, let's dig into it. Tell us about it.
I mean, it took me a while to figure everything out, but Herr Delshall, John Whitberg, definitely brought me up to speed on Titan. I mean, all the zones of New Nuremberg, that main city. It took me a while to figure that one out, but at least now I can actually pinpoint it. And right before I was sent back here, Matthias did spend almost a month down on Titan getting settled down, I guess.
There's a question in the chat, and she'll say, let's do a weird question, but I'm sure you can answer this question. Is the sex off planet different? Yeah. I'm sorry.
If I were to, how am I going to put this? So basically, all the crazy stuff you think of would exist down here for that is normalized up there.
So
And
there's no
anything that's
limit.
normal down here is frowned upon out there. I
What?
don't know how else to
Like, can we have an
describe it.
example? So what's frowned upon up there that we consider normal?
Pretty much marrying.
Getting married?
Marrying like
Oh,
one
okay.
person at a time and stuff like that. Without
But
going
being
further into it.
monogamous is frowned upon in space. On the off-world colonies, no one is monogamous. I'm gonna say monogamous. Yeah, doesn't make sense to get married, does it? It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what's normal sex-wise then? I'm not trying to do a weird sex show here, but I'm just like multiple people having a frenzy just come to mind. Flix, I'm gonna kill you for this question.
Well, like I said, anything that's considered eccentric, bizarre, non-vanilla down here exists up there, and it's abundant.
Yeah. Okay. So right, so I've got alters. One of them is a fox, Lyrin, and she is a stripper, an assassin, whatever, working on Ceres, I think. And Beverly Rhodes talked about how when you were working the sex trade, that the ETs would literally just tear you apart and you would get regenerated afterwards. Is that true? Have you seen that kind of thing going on?
I don't know.
Okay, because she makes it sound like they just use and abuse you to the point that you're dead, and then you just get thrown in a tank afterwards, regenerated, and so that's mad. Okay, so the next question was not so weird. It's still from Flix. She's talking about food. Where is it? So we're opening up to the weird question. It's midnight here in the UK, so it's okay for me to say these things. 1 second, bear with me. So yeah, is there or just is food that is safer to answer? Is food different? So you've talked a bit in the past about replicators. So how is the food different out there to here?
A lot more variety, a lot less focus on the carnivore aspect of having to kill something and then chop it up into steaks and pork chops and whatnot. Because replicators just do it all from scratch. So technically we can still keep that same diet, but no one has to die because of it. You just throw a bunch of molecules in the Maggie or the Mondelez replicator, and boom, it's there. As for food, I mean, it did vary. I mean, on certain missions, like I know they frown upon this in Waffen, but you could carry like packs of beer with you, dump it into a replicator, and all of a sudden it coughs up all your nutrients and stuff, like survival rations. I mean, they already have like a reserve genetic bank of those replicators on board, but this one can of like monk beer or milk brow, I think it's called up there. You could pour it into a replicator, and it would be enough to cough up nutrients and stuff for you for days. So either I could drink a beer, or I could toss it in this Mondelez thing and basically cough up nothing but meals for days. So if I were to bring a 6-pack of beer with me on that Waffen shuttle or Kruger or Craft, whatever they give me to fly, if I were to get stuck down somewhere, theoretically that 6-pack of beer could keep me going for up to 30 days.
That's incredible.
So either I could get drunk, or I could have like 30 days worth of food.
Okay, that's super cool. I like that. Okay, there's a few questions in the chat, so I'm going to go through. So Nathan Fox has told Flix to get her brain out of the brothel. That was so funny. Okay, She's asking, murder, is that an option? That's because I said I was going to kill her, I think. So can you kill people in space? What happens if you kill somebody in the street? Theoretical question for YouTube purposes, entertainment purposes only. So
depends where. But I wouldn't recommend that on New Atlantis. On New Atlantis, with all the skyscrapers, it's not just corporations and offices and people going about for a day. It's also soldier housing. And so all of a sudden, these glass skyscrapers, some of them don't have patios, they just look like ordinary office buildings, filled to the brim with thousands, if not millions, of potential soldiers. If you were to commit such a thing on the streets of New Atlantis, these Arasaka implants or alarms or whatever would turn on, and within seconds, you're going to have people teleporting with guns blazing and all that, trying to basically shut it down on the spot. And then you're going to have thousands of heavily armed reservists, if not active duty Waffen and Kruger or someone else, showing up at your scene of the crime, so to speak. I wouldn't recommend it.
So is that like
basically imagine SWAT on steroids? That's exactly what would happen.
Like in Minority Report, when they catch you before you do something, is it similar to that in a way? Have you seen that movie?
If it's critical enough, they will. But Time Corp mostly focuses on the bigger picture. They don't usually waste it on a mugging and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's super cool. Okay. There's a few weird questions now. Okay. So any connections with the programs in Alpha Centauri? Centauri? Says Tiffany. What do you know about Alpha Centauri?
That's where New Atlantis is. New Atlantis is in Alpha Centauri.
Okay, so is there like SSP programs that are out there, or is it just like Solarians who live there?
Like Alpha Centauri wise, I mean, it's all German, but there was like a native ET species, but they don't really show themselves too often. I think because of it, it is kind of like the reservation system that exists in North America or Australia for the indigenous Aboriginals, Native Americans, etc. If I remember correctly, but then again, I was mostly in the city. They didn't really want us going out in the jungle or anything, so I didn't really leave New Atlantis, like city proper, all that often. If I did leave the city, it would have been to basically what I term as the Egg Palace, Carl Emmerman or Uncle Carl's mansion, basically on I think the southwest or southwest of New Atlantis, against the beach. Basically, it's kind of like imagine basically Miami, but like multi-story mansion instead of like one or two, occasional tower, wide beaches, that sort of thing.
Okay, cool. Have you been to planets where they've got the dinosaurs and they've got the xenomorphs? Have you seen that?
Dinosaur beings?
Yeah.
Yes. Xenomorphs, I haven't seen them out there.
Okay. Okay, I'm just scanning the chat. So there was a question from Jane Seeley Hatch, and she was asking about the ACIO and would you recommend getting that reading? And I know we've both been through that process. Personally, there's things in it that I resonate with and things that I don't, but I'd still recommend it because I did learn a lot from it. Would you recommend yours?
Yes, and I mean, we do great work, but the thing is, like, when I asked about like mine, the thing is, you have to make absolute sure you know which one is your primary and which one are your secondaries, because for me, I get most of mine from Matthias, but Ash came up, like my other one, well, the one that currently works with Kruger, and a whole different career came up. because supposedly that one worked as something under, what was it, the Wahlberg Battalion or something. I guess a small group of ships, mostly pumpkin seeds. I don't know the exact mission details, but basically I was in there and then somehow I landed in Kruger. But that's Ash. It doesn't cover Jaeger. It doesn't cover Trisha Takuma. It doesn't cover Matthias. And Matthias is the one that talks to me the most. So like I did ask him about them, and I didn't really. Well, if I remember correctly, they did say if I wanted more on Matthias, I would have to get a separate session about that. But I also have been informed that apparently Matthias is dangerous. So I haven't really been able to get more on Matthias from out there, especially because the other SSP people I do talk to, Ash comes up, Jaeger comes up, those two specifically, or my hundreds, thousands of clones, but not specifically Matthias Nusken. So I do recommend it absolutely, but you have to go in there prepared.
Yeah, I
You
wasn't
definitely have to
prepared for
go in
mine
there
at
prepared.
all. I only had a few questions that I wanted to know about. Like when I asked about clones, because I'm like the Orphan Black, when they said it was 24 million clones, like how do you respond to that? Right? Do you know what I mean? And at that point, I wasn't aware that I had separate personalities that I could actually ask questions about. So I asked about what was my original birth certificate, and they told me it was 1920 and that my name is Juliet Levy. Right? Does that make any sense? So if
Because
so, you know,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm just on my Mac right now. I just need to calculate
Okay.
something because I remember someone saying there's at least 200 billion people in Das Bundes, right? So let's see, thousand million
I know there's
billion,
trillions of
or
colonists, right?
no,
Trillions and
thousand
trillions.
million billion. So one more zero divided by, let's say, 12 million. So theoretically, if you had 12 million clones, at the very least, Waffen could have potentially sent at least 16.6 million of us into programs and then cloned us 12 million times, which is
Mm.
a very possible number because let's say 16 uh, divided by 40, that'd be 416,000 people per year divided by, what is this, 365. I mean, all they have to do is pretty much pull out 1,141.5 people per day, clone them, and then
Yeah.
just send them out in Das Bundes. So even at
Yeah.
those minuscule numbers, I mean, for all I had to do was pretty much pull out at least one kid per largest thousands towns in
Yeah.
basically the Western world, and then just send them out into space.
I can do a clone count, and I've noticed that about every month it goes up by about 1,000 or more when I check it. And I was working with Sean Bond in the last year, and we were trying to reduce down the number of nefarious ones and things. But when I try and scan into the echo chain, it's always going up by like 1,000 or 1,500. But it's not as many as it used to be. It's 7,700. It's coming to mind right now. So there's not that many, but they're sold all over. They're everywhere. So they're on planet, just in general population. They're off planet. I don't know what they're up to, some of them. Okay, so there's a question here about Atlantis, as in the actual Atlantis. Was it a ship that left Earth?
No, that was after, well, technically during the Iran Wars, but after the worst parts of it. So me, the Avians, and a whole bunch of the others came down here and basically rebuilt everything from scratch. And that was technically what we called Atlantis.
So, what did you go back in time
When?
to build Atlantis? So, was that a time mission?
That was during the Orion Wars. It wasn't a time mission.
Okay.
I can't remember how long it was ago. I think it was like 10,800 years ago, 11,000 years ago, something like that.
Okay, so just checking for questions. Do you know what the first planet that any of the breakaways occupied was? So where did they go first? Was it
Mars.
Mars? Yeah, okay, Mars, cool. Oh, so not in the solar system. So the first planet outside of this area.
Oh, outside of Assyria, New Atlantis would probably be my first guess, followed by New Corellia, and I think there are some moons for sure, but I can't remember any of the moons' names outside of the solar system.
Okay. Jane Hatch is saying, sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. Do I have a pen? So this is basically what I understand is how Nockwaffin's navigation works. So okay, so how Nocwaffen navigation works is this is supposed to be the quadrant of the galaxy, A, B, C, or D, like one of those quadrants. This is supposed to be a subsection, so that would technically be a subsection of 8. This would be narrowing down, like going, let's say, looking at the screen would be like narrowing down a pixel on your screen. So this would be it. This would narrow it down further. This would pretty much be like going through a microscope. And then this would be your system. So 0101A. If it be 01, it would be your first planet. If it was 01 or 02 after that, that would be a moon. And A would be point of interest, major point of interest. So for these, that would be like if it was a solar system. I don't know the exact like preamble towards the last part, but ours for Earth would be 03. Let's say Calgary, where I am right now, was A. It would be 03 A. But let's say it was LOC or somewhere else on the moon, trapezoid base or something. It would be 0301 A. And that's also why some of us don't remember, because if you were a navigator in Knockwall and Kruger or somewhere else, you're given this and you're told to go there, but you weren't given a name or like directions. You're just told this, that, make it happen. That's pretty much how they handle navigation up in Knockwall.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you want to tell us a bit about how something works? So I'll be right back, but tell us whatever you want about how something works. Yeah, and I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay.
How I make something work.
Or daily life on one like Titan or New Atlantis.
I guess I can. New Atlantis. I mean, depends. I mean, from what Matthias showed me before going back into stasis, I basically show up at the Egg Palace or whatever. I don't even know the official term everyone uses for his home. Kind of wish I did. So basically, showed up at the Egg Palace. The security detail let me in. I show up at his office, go over the missions or reports. Then I'd be sent off to do my work, pretty much 9 to 5. Then I'd go home, or sometimes I would Kruger have her bounties, I believe. So I look on the Kruger bounty board, see, okay, is there like a bounty I can maybe collect or do recon on or something? They're gonna pay me out if I get something valuable anyway. And sometimes I moonlight for Kruger at night, or the other times go to Neptune's palace and just go through the Las Vegas strip of their sorts. There's other times where I just go home and sleep or browse for stores, or I think there's going to the laboratory, making my own implements. That one set me back a couple months worth of officer salary for some of the stuff I used to make there, but that one was definitely interesting. That definitely passed the time.
That's awesome. Thank you. There's two questions in the chat. One is, who is your favorite band? Are you into music?
Yes, but I don't really have a favorite. I'm just going around listening to whatever, seeing what recall, what sounds good. Blue Oyster Cult has been stuck in my head recently, and Herr Delshell John did mention that Blue Oyster Cult borrowed a lot of their music by force from Montauk, and a lot of their music lately has definitely been triggering me quite a bit because
do you think it's encoded, the
Dancing in the
music?
Ruin. Sorry.
Has it got codes running through the music, do you think?
Codes recall all sorts of stuff, but Dancing in the Ruins by Blue Oyster Cult. If I remember correctly, John or Kyle Delshall originally wrote that song in order to celebrate Revolution Day at Montauk. And instead, I guess for the offices of Warner and all these other people ripping out these songs and then giving it to artists and saying it's creative material, Blue Oyster Cult is definitely one of those music groups that are basically copy and paste corporates. They'll take this material and then perform it themselves. And Dancing in the Ruins is supposed to be a song about being victorious on Revolution Day at Montauk, or otherwise known as Camp Hero. And they basically took his song and gave it to Blue Oyster Cult.
So James in the chat is saying the song Imaginos. Do you remember that song? That's Blue Oyster Cult. It says Imaginos. It says it's Blue Oyster Cult. It's another song, I think.
I don't think I've heard that one yet, but Burning for You, Dancing in the Ruins, Veterans of the Psychic Wars, Don't Fear the Reaper. Those are all definitely John's, if I remember correctly.
How does it work with cinema, with movies off planet? So have we got things on planet that are made off planet? Because I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, they do take a lot of stuff here and they'll obfuscate the dates. So like the good, the bad, and the ugly, and Encino Moccioni, I can't remember how to say his name right now, but all his movies with Clint Eastwood, they're up there, but they hit the dates of instead of the 1968 when it was originally made, they just made it before 1953. So it does exist, but they definitely go to great lengths in order to hide it from the rest of Das Bundes that Earth supposedly still exists.
Okay, what about Chuck Norris? Did you ever see him off-world? He's just passed away.
No, I haven't, but I would not be surprised if he's Sorwarn or Sorwarn Alliance, considering American.
Mm. Okay, interesting. There was a question about Mars, and does it have two moons?
Phobos and Deimos, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Any more questions in the chat, guys? Because we've been going for over an hour. Are you okay to continue a little bit longer? Because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. And so if anyone's got questions, pop them in. And Nusken will try and answer anything at all. We really will. So let me just check if there's anything else. Okay, Jane is saying that's an amazing story about the beer. She likes that. That's pretty cool, actually. Did you ever have like a bike or a car or whatever off planet that was yours? Did you own something or?
Even on Titan, car ownership was a luxury because the public transport system was so good you didn't really need it. New Atlantis especially. I mean you could still see cars and stuff flying in the sky all the time, but I didn't really need one, especially because I was military, right? Because Waffen would just, I mean, if you were in Waffen, even if you were not active as a veteran, you'd still be given free rides on public transport. So, I mean, I could get a car, or I could just ride it for free because it's all maglev and stuff anyway. So I'd still be able to get to where I need to within minutes. There was also teleportation too, so if I still have that ability, I can just teleport. So, I mean, I could get this contraption that'll get me around, or I can just teleport from A to B in seconds.
Have you watched Futurama?
Oh yeah, pneumatic tubes. I mean, there is some of that out there, but It's not for people. It's more for cargo. So they'll shove this pill-sized thing full of cargo like pallets and then send it around. So that does exist, but not for people, because I think in Titan, and now on Titan there is a ghetto area. Sorry, I have a tab, English to German. So no, English to Silesian. Uh, in English, we refer to it as Tin Can City. In German, we call it Wachtdogenstadt. English to Silesian, it'd be termed Miasto ze Pushka. But of course, with how they spoke up there was mixes of Silesian German, French and German, etc., etc. So I guess the one term that could be used is Pushkastat or Blacktogen Miasto. Like it's just a mix of German Silesian that the people there would speak. But long story short, Blackdogenstad is basically a lower income ghetto area of Titan where people usually come in for work or if they're stuck there or other circumstances. For example, having like obsolete implants if they can't medically fix them or afford them unless they want to join the military, but of course they don't want to go back into the military, so it just spirals out of control. Basically, so this pneumatic tube delivery system does exist on Titan, and because of the income of Bakdojenstad, basically they don't really have like much in the way of work. So one of the main means of trying to acquire a living is through a traditional five-finger discounts. And there's people in Bakdojenstad, they would purposely go into these pneumatic tubes, try and like intercept these pallets and try to like bring them off course, or they'd wait until it comes over them, have like a C4 or something, blast a glass underneath, and all of a sudden these pallets would fall out of the sky if they didn't have anti-grav. So basically, people try and sneak in there, but of course it's pneumatic tubes, right? Like pneumatics had a railing inside like the capsule, so if you were in that capsule, you're good. But if you were like human just floating in there at like sublight speed or subsonic speed, basically you're gonna look like spaghetti by the time you like leave the tube at the other ends. So people stop doing that pretty quick, but there's still some people desperate or ballsy enough to try and attempt it. And
Yeah.
I guess if it ever does.
Nathan says the regen tanks would be working overtime if those tubes were for people, he says. So
I don't think. Oh, you said tanks. Yeah, I don't think a med bed would suffice trying to repair someone. You'd have to actually go in a tank. Yeah.
okay, so there's a question from Alexander, and he's saying, how can one be sure that memories are real and not imagined for both of you? It's an interesting question, Alexander. For me, it's about the energy, the emotion that's attached to things. So, how about you?
Like for me, viewing, I mean, Matthias had the long hair, but it was all on like techno Viking dreads. Ash, Jaeger, rest of them are all pretty much like this. All short hair, of course, but it also didn't have the facial hair. They didn't. I mean, U-boat tradition of the Kriegsmarine, precursor to Waffen. Of course, he grew a beard for along patrols and everything else, but the beard out there didn't really exist. Well, except for like Uncle Carl and admirals and commandants, they sometimes have facial hair, but I didn't. I just had this going on, and that was it.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me personally, I do vision questing to help me get my recall. And some of the stuff that I've uncovered, there's just no way that I could possibly know that. There's just too much detail. There's just, when we did that India SSP one live and I uncovered a deep underground military base in the middle of India, which was linked to the maglev, which was linked into like diplomatic missions and stuff, and the Stargate. There's just no way I could have known any of that stuff and then go and verify it and stuff. So it's insane. Anyway, so Tiffany is saying, what other bands cause memory recall? I've put a comment in about the Linkin Park Castle of Glass song, which has come from John Whitberg's Altar, and it ties in with the first book. So I was reading the book and I was listening to that song over and over, and I swear that's encoded with something, because I was getting so many memories through when I was listening to that song. How about you? Any other songs or bands?
Kraftwerk.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. So Kat's got
I mean, there's more, but
yeah.
Kraftwerk is the big one. There's this one album, Electric Cafe from 1986. Basically, their entire album, start to finish, you'll hear it out in Breakaway Das Bundes all the time. If you go on to series or this one particular place on Titan called Utes, all you ever hear is Kraftwerk, and
Yeah.
everything else is blurring all the time. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
Okay, cool. So what are some interesting sports that are played off Earth is what Kat is asking.
I mean, laser tag, like a variant of it, is definitely a big one out there. They have leagues and all this other thing, all this other stuff out there. Soccer, American football, that's ICC mostly, just because of ICC is as ICC does. Um, uh, Basketball, they frown upon in the German breakaway.
Why?
Um,
Do you know why?
well, this is on YouTube, but this goes back to certain German views on race.
That's fine. Flix has got a German question. She's saying, are the off-planet Germans just as overly precise with their pronunciation as here? So she speaks German. She's not in Germany, but she does speak German. She's saying, oh, will this question get me unalived again? That's not as bad as the sex question from Flix. So,
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
I mean, standard high German, yes, but I mostly spoke Low German Silesian up there, so I had a bit of Breakaway, but all official reports and stuff I had to do had to be in standard high German, or at least very accurate English, one of the two, but they preferred, of course, German.
Yeah, so Jane is asking, she's saying, thank you for the comprehensive answer about the ACIO. How do you prepare? So if I was going to do that again, which I probably will at some point, I'm just going to write down as much as I can possibly think about, because I had 2.5 hours in that session and only 90 minutes of it actually went on the live recording on their channel. So do you think you'd ever do ACIO again, or what tips would you give people?
Family history, basic knowledge of the SSP programs for figuring out where, what, when, why, etc. Names of your altars. Try and get your main one out there, or at very least get your secondaries. Past life knowledge for a very proficient ACIO, but you do have to make sure you know exactly what your past lives are, so you can at least ask them further questions on it. Because for me, I'm mostly focused on Quinchly Huang Di, but they also brought up Jack Parsons, and I honestly didn't look too much into Jack Parsons, Thelema, OTO, or Alistair Crowley, any of that stuff. I mean, I do know some, but I didn't really know too much before ACIO. After I actually had to start looking it up.
So your video is not available, but mine's on Jessica Morocco's channel, and I've got a video with Jessica and me, and a video with me, Jessica, and Peter. I got confirmation on some of the projects that I'm in on Planet and off Planet. I got confirmation on my science versions, the fact that I've got clones, the fact that my archetypes are used in the Orphan Black TV show, Umbrella Academy, and a couple of other shows as well. So they're using like versions of me as the character. So okay.
I asked Peter and Jessica if they could just keep my ACIO confirmation video under wraps until a later time, but they definitely confirmed it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least one of my secondaries is up there quite a bit.
Yeah. See, I didn't really understand, because I mean, I was told that I was in the merge program with Drago Reed, and he and I are dyads. We're literally programmed to work as a team. We've got the same genetic base code, and we're soul family siblings basically. So yeah, so I learned about a few different things, but it just didn't make sense, and I'm still unpacking it, and it's been a year now. I'm still unpacking it. It's a lot of information that I got in that session. Alexander's saying Craig's Marina and Stairway to Heaven. Do you think they are activating. James is talking about ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, which we know is that come from John Whitberg's Altars. Mr. Blue Skies. I'm pretty sure I've talked about that on another video with John and Breakaway Ray, that ELO was literally written by Cal Dilshow, all that kind of stuff. I'm not too sure about that.
Well, ELO, Mr. Blue Sky, the Kruger commercials up there, fucking hilarious.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because you have all these Kruger Sentinels running around blasting guns and shit, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Blue Sky, and then the Kruger logos is blasting at the end. I mean, that one was definitely eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that until recently.
So what other kind of commercials are out there that we might have here? Or, you know, I used to love jingles. Do they have jingles out in space? But they've stopped using jingles here in the UK. We don't have those songs on commercials. We call them adverts.
ICC, yes. Germans, not really. For Germans, no. They go straight to the point in traditional German fashion.
Yeah. Okay. So has anybody passed away recently that you think is actually off planet now? Anybody famous or
Not passed away, but there was one very important person in the news recently. Tyler Chase in Los Angeles was recently put on the news because this Nickelodeon star ended up homeless, and I guess the fans tracked him down, tried to buy him a hotel, trashed his hotel room. Now he's back on the streets homeless. And I remember him from when I was up there during my last month or so on Titan before I was sent back here. I did run into him out there, and he's known as Osmond to Greason on Titan. I guess he was just visiting, or maybe he was doing his work, but basically Osmond was his mission, or I guess his assignment at the time, was to track down what Das Bundes and the Germans referred to as Zeitbanditen, what they call time bandits, basically their term for Montauk children going across time, stealing stuff from out in the universe and bringing it back to Montauk, stuff like that. And his mission was to apparently track him down. That was what I was supposed to do, is just track him down. And long story short, I showed up at one of the party halls out there where they're giving away free meals for veterans and active personnel. And he basically invited me to sit down with him. I was just ranting and raving about our missions and whatnot, and trying to chow down, him going over his glass pads. I mean, he is out there, and what I suspect is that because of what happened down here, especially with Nickelodeon and the RSRA, for him, Tyler Chase has basically been forced out to the streets of Los Angeles, and these cabalists are trying to track him down, trying to brand him with hotel rooms and God knows what else. Of course, he has memories of what happened, so he trashed his hotel room. Now he's back out to the streets. So, I mean, those handlers and stuff out there are in complete fucking overdrive trying to bring this guy back in, and he is not having any of it. And I remember from out there, he doesn't have any of that at all. And if Uncle Carl and any of them are watching this right now, I mean, there's a lot of us from Nacht, Waffen, and Kruger especially that are hitting the curbs and barely making ends meet. And the cabal is in overdrive to either deal with us or to keep us as well as possible, I guess, to keep us down here. And Tyler Chase is one of those people that has definitely been forced for programs and then dropped off down here and left to,
So do you think off planet that they see our podcasts and things? I'm sure John's mentioned that before.
Transmission time from here to series is approximately 23 to 24 minutes. I'm not sure if that's light speed or something else, but like granted, it's not light speed. Like the odds of this going back there in 24 hours and then coming back is realistic. Or so even from Mars, if there's instant portals, let's say from Earth to Mars, you shortcut that distance, and then all of a sudden it's like a 15-minute transmission time or less.
So is it possible that my alters on Mars could be watching my podcast?
Yes.
Okay, shout out to Tabitha and Hildy. Hey. So I'm too active that I connected to. They're saying that you look like Jason, who's not in the chat right now, missing time 420. my top mod, and he says he sounds like you too. I don't think that's true. Jason's in Chicago. I don't think you sound like. Maybe, I don't know. Guys, pop your questions in the chat and we'll go on a little bit longer. But I do need some questions. Otherwise, I'm going to have to let Nusken go. And I've finally got him talking. It's only taken me 6 months to get you talking. Jesus. So I don't want to let you go while you're talking. And sometimes it's so hard to get you to open up. So what do you know about, like, if we're streaming this out and it's going to like some underground or something? So who's listening to this then off planet? So who's receiving this information? Is that dangerous for them?
Well, if you're in Nacht, Waffen or Das Bundes, I mean, just knowledge that the Earth technically still exists is a big no-no up there. But on the other hand, I mean, they do intercept this stuff and they're able to figure out, oh, hey, Matthias Nusken is down here. He's not in fucking stasis. He's stuck down here. So, I mean, there's that aspect, because most of them probably realize by now that throwing me in the icebox didn't really do anything except keep my clone body or whatever all nice and tidy. Meanwhile, basically, I got forced down here, so now I have to incorporate all these alters and have to fix everything up. I mean, it's beneficial, of course, but it drives me fucking nuts.
Okay, this is a really weird question, but it's just something that I heard kind of out and about lately. That if you wanted to go off planet physically, could you make that happen? Could you go back to them and say, look, I'm done here, send me back? Could you make it happen?
Yes, but that's a one-way trip.
Exactly. So I think there's people that think that that's possible, and I just don't understand how they think it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Is that like a secret that nobody talks about? That you can actually get off the planet? Sorry.
Yes, but
am I going to get
it depends how you do that. I mean, you could send a message, or you can go up like command bind.
Explain. Okay.
I mean, you can send one out for your Arasaka attack. You can try and send one out for comms, but if you don't have the right, what I call the free seashells and the Kruger core authorization, if you don't have all those, then they're just going to treat
Did you say there's 3 seashells, like in Demolition Man? Did you just say seashells?
Primary authorization, secondary authorization, territory authorization. You could add more, but usually those 3 for sure. Then the Kruger core stuff, I'm not going to go into that one for obvious reasons, but I do remember my codes.
What do you know about right eye implants at the side here? There's something here. It's new as well.
I'm not sure about right, but left for me is definitely come up.
Yeah,
because I see my head and everything else.
But there's something else there. I feel something's been implanted there in the last few weeks, and it keeps getting my attention. So there's something there. This one is active. This one actively works. I can pull open the hood. I can see.
Well, you said yours were more scientific. For me, like, I was frontline combat in terms of Matthias, so left hand would be my Arasaka, right hand would be for my scope and everything else I need.
Well, I have both. Correctly. So there's versions of me that link into my super soldier dyad. I can see through his eyes as well. So I've got that. So I can sync in telemetry with my partner. And but so I don't know. So that's mainly for soldier stuff. It's not for science stuff. I haven't even thought about what would it be for science stuff. I need to look into that. Yeah, okay. Question. Have you ever seen the submarine Nazi UFO, aka cigar-shaped UFO, up close?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not sure about Asher Yeager, but Matthias, one of his early postings before going to the officer training, was actually on one of those U-boats. They used 3 mostly up there, the Vix, the milk cows, I think type 14 or something, or type 9, type 14, and then the type 21, the newest ones before 1945. But most of those are retired or mothballed now. It's all pumpkin seeds and wedges and whatnot. I do remember them, though, absolutely.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So next question is, are things getting better in this timeline? What can we do to get through this time?
Yes, somewhat better, but everything else is completely off the rails, basically, from what I could see. Because Werner von Braun, his main warning of the Germans coming back would the last two things we have yet to fulfill would be the war actions and the economic collapse, but those two are coming up very fast. So after those two happen, if not sooner, they likely are going to intervene.
Okay, so there's a cool question here from Nathan Fox. What's the most lethal / powerful / ruthless SSP faction?
Depends in what way, Nathan.
Okay, Nathan, can you clarify? I don't know if he's just talking about, like Nat Waffen versus Kruger. But you've been trained to work in multiple factions, right? At the same, well, to go from one to the other, cross faction rotation, as Drago calls it.
Well,
so, in your experience, where would you rather work? Which faction would you rather work for?
Not Waffen.
Okay, so everybody thinks like they call it dark fleet.
If I had a very close second, it would be Kruger Corps.
Okay,
definitely not Waffen for number one.
So they call it Dark Fleet, and they instead of night weapons, and everyone portrays that it's really bad, it's really evil, or whatever. So how do you portray Night Weapon?
I mean, for some things, that'll seem absolutely batshit crazy, but I mean, Doc Waffen does have its ups and downs.
I only have memories from one alter, and she's a scientist, and she was like really cordoned off a lot for the safety of others. So I've got really limited. Like I didn't get to go out much. I went to like the mess hall, and I went to like a gym, and that was about it. It's like I went to my lab, and I went to my quarters. I didn't really see much in my memory. So questions. So Alexander's saying maybe being with or maybe he's talking about himself. Been with Time Corps or Pegasus? Can you both remind me, dude? I don't know where you've been. Do you know much about Time Corps? Time Cops?
Bits and pieces, but basically, if someone were to temporarily screw up in Time Corps, so like Alexander Galvez, is he in the comments?
How did you know it was him?
Oh, me and him been talking, but basically, I think I remember him. Yeah, he'd show up in this silvery suit and basically like, "Hey, man, you can't do this," or like, something I was doing was affecting the timeline, and basically, Time Corp would show up and basically try and tell the person causing the fracture or incident or whatever to cover jets or to stop it. Most of the time people did, but unfortunately some other times people wouldn't listen. So Time Corp would show up in this silver jumpsuit, basically tell them knock it off. And then if they didn't knock it off, that's when they sent in Kruger or Waffen to correct the problem through physical means or ballistic means or plasma means or something else.
What's the Pegasus he's referring to?
Pegasus, I'm not sure about Pegasus though.
Okay.
Oh, it could be different groups in Time Corps. Maybe his agent name was Pegasus. I honestly don't know.
Okay, right. I'm just checking the chat here. Flex is deciphering my words. Okay. Okay. Any questions, guys? Welcome, John P. Good to see you. Any lesson? Yeah, Alexander's saying yes. Yeah. So Nusken can't see the chat, guys, because he's on Zoom. I can only see the chat because I've got it open on my laptop. So please put in your last questions. We're getting 94 minutes. So we're going to finish up soon, so you don't get too tired. And it's like 1:45, and I generally go live at 5 a.m. again, just for general general morning lives these days. Okay, so if people are going to recover their memories, what do you do personally to support you when you get a memory or trying to get the memory? How do you decipher that memory?
Well, I figure out which one's coming from. Usually it's Matthias, so I'll look for the braids or like specifics. If it's for the other ones, of course, I mean short hair all around, so makes it a bit easier to figure that one out for me.
So when I get memory coming in, it comes in very quickly a lot of the time, and I have to try and capture it and hold on to it and dissect it and revisit it in my next vision quests and stuff, which is quite tricky. But I'm great with maps, so I've been able to locate 2 new bases, 2 new DUMs in the last couple of months, and I've had that verified by others as well, which has been great. I'm onto something at the moment, which is like massive, a huge planetary wide access program. So I'm getting that. So yeah, so would you recommend QHHT or regression for people? Because that was a question that came up earlier.
Yes, but no. Yes, absolutely yes. No, because the thing is with QAHT, like, of course, like the thing is for people like me, like going day-to-day survival, like I've had times in the past where I'd pay hundreds of dollars for Akashic access or help, but the thing is I could have used that hundreds of dollars for paying rent, paying bills, groceries, but I kind of went on a esoteric binge a couple years back, and I mean it did help, but the thing is, like material access and money, like if you're in a financially precarious position, I officially do not recommend going through it because, yeah, like depending on the results, I mean, you might get your Akashic memories back, but all of a sudden you're short a couple $100 on rent. So it's like here and now, like 3D mentality is just. I have to be careful because I can't afford to sometimes get QAHT and pay a practitioner, let's say $500, when I could use that to like put down my electricity or get myself like clothes or workwear or something. So this is the 5D side of things versus the 3D here and now of survival, and I do recommend it in general, but you have to make sure you're getting absolutely what you're going in for, or that you're not gonna potentially financially risk yourself, like investment wise. Like try not to put all your money on investments, so you have nothing to go while you wait for your investment to climb, like stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. It can really like eat up your finances when you go onto these the kind of the seeking mode. So like when I do videos and it's all my personal videos like Sean Bond or Christy Campbell or whoever, I've had to pay for those videos. A lot of people don't realize that, yeah, you have to pay for that. And it really, it's hard. Like I get behind on my rent as well and stuff, so it's tricky. So I have to save up for things, because most of the good stuff, it either comes from my own personal meditation or it comes connecting with somebody that I trust and respect, whatever. But I don't do regression. I do active vision quest. Alexander's saying maps and keys, were you a star navigator like Penny? I'm not a navigator. I am a architect. So I'm a DNA architect. I'm a record keeper. And I am a portal and a timeline anchor. So, but no, I don't believe I'm a navigator. But I do anchor in multiple timelines at the same time. It's a version of me that was used as a Stargate activator on the moon. She's reintegrated now, but she was anchoring in a timeline while I was anchoring in another timeline. So we've converged now. So when I do readings, I weave together different timelines to see where you're at, and then I can push you towards your highest timeline. But navigating, I don't know. I'm not stable enough for that because my psionics are like explosive. I'm used as a weapon. I'm a phosphoromancer, so I literally blow things up with my hot. So I'm used as an exterminator on Mars is the newest thing, and there's a version of me that's like a time worm creating wormholes. Apparently, it's a bit weird. So yeah, so no, I'm not a navigator. Yeah, Jane saying thank you for your answer about how to prep for ACIO. Yeah, that was good answers there.
Sorry, I was gonna say, now that you mentioned that, to answer, I think James' question about the My Tray before, I mean, that version of me, Matthias, on a crashed ship with the couple dozen survivors and those blue data orbs, from what I can understand, Waffen and Kruger might have kept that one, that version of Matthias alive for timeline access or universal access. So they would keep open these certain altars or clones in order to make sure they had constant access to a what is that, not theoretical, quantum access point, or QAP. So they try to keep these people open in order so you can get into these universes and then get what you need and then go out, or extract someone or insert someone. So let's say there was a Universe A person going to Universe B in order to cause a shitstorm, but Universe B couldn't deal with it, so Universe A would pull that person out of Universe B in order to restore the timeline, so Universe C could go in, and Universe Z, etc., etc. Like, this gets all sorts of wacky. I mean, but just trying to go into the like physics portions of that stuff would probably drive me nuts.
Your science alters are really forward right now. James is saying, is there anything that helps to, when the faces are blurred in memories, is there anything that you can do to unblur the faces or get the names of things? Because they block out names as well, don't they?
For me, it's if you have a German or Celestian name or Japanese name, you will get recalled. But the thing is, they didn't really speak English up there. I mean, we're English speaking people, but officially, Nachtwaffen communicated in Standard High German. Other forms of language that would be tolerated up there would be Low German, Silesian, French, Russian, if you're white Russian, like pre 1917, before the Red Revolution, like the Tsarist Russia, there's some of them up there. There's Farsi, Afrikaans, like Dutch English language of South Africa, Spanish. Like, it really depends, but like in Matthias's case, I could report in Low German or Celestian English, but all standard communication had to be in Standard High German. That's how they expected it. Whenever I were to receive orders or show up at a conference, it all had to be in German. Kruger was easy. I could just show up in Low German or English and all translate, because Alexandria Kruger, Gabriel Kruger, Radon Grossman, Drago, the refractor and the personal security guard of like the elite of Kruger. I mean, I guess just communicating English, it wouldn't be a problem, but Nachtwaffen was specifically Standard High German or Japanese for the Y and K.
Yeah, so my Japanese alter connected a few months ago, and I got her name, and then I couldn't find anything related to this name, this word, so I pushed it away. It came back 2 weeks later. So her name was Eris, Erisu, and then I found her linked into the game. So it could be said Erith or Eris, and I found her. I've connected into her now. I've got her full name, and she is still connected into Drago. We're still siblings, even in the Japanese version. But it's obviously in a different context of existence or something to like who we are now. But when I found her name, that did change things for me. So it was John Wetberg that said that names are like full names. It's not just one name, it's always the last name as well. And that helped me a lot to tune into my alters on Mars to try and figure out what their last name was. So I could get their first name, but then finding their last name was harder. But I found it. I found it in the end. Apart from Tabitha, I think I did give her a last name in the end, but she's a synthetic. She works in a clone lab. But yeah. Anyway, okay. So yeah. So everybody's had a nice time. Thank you. They're talking about a couple of them are linked into Washington D.C. and the super strength programs. Montauk. I've avoided the Montauk talk a bit today because I've had something come up lately, so it triggers me quite a bit right now. Okay, so is there anything that you wanted to share before we finish? Let everybody know how they can get hold of you, or something that you've got coming up, perhaps, or maybe when you're coming back on here to do
Facebook,
more Q&A.
Riley, sorry.
When you're coming back to do another Q&A.
I guess I'll figure that out. But
Yeah.
Facebook, Riley Nusk. My profile picture is a
Mm-hmm.
horribly AI generated version of Mr. Burns. That episode where he's like, "This isn't wavy gravy all along. This is smoking harmless tobacco or whatever." I replaced the bong with RPG 7, but I guess Grok had like a picture of Mr. Burns holding the RPG by the warhead, and that was way too fucking funny to pass up. So I just used that as a profile picture.
I think I asked you about the Simpsons world, didn't I? I've already asked you about that. Simpsons world. So like I had it come up in the heads up display. There was the screen and I was watching people and it looked like an episode of The Simpsons, but I knew there were real people in that screen that I was watching. So I was observing people that looked like characters in The Simpsons, but it wasn't.
Well, then again, the Cabal, Knockwoff, and Trades cut off most of the Knockwoff and access down here after 1991. So The Simpsons were technically built off of Tracy Ullman's shorts and created their own series in 1989. So they still had 2 years of access to The Simpsons. So that could answer some of that.
Yeah, I can't make sense of it, to be honest.
Same with the other cartoons and stuff out there too.
Yeah. That's mad. Okay, yes. So I put your PayPal in the chat. If anybody would like to support Nusken's work, please do. All donations are greatly appreciated. And we love you coming on. Thank you. And it's great to see you open up a bit more today. Sometimes it's quite hard to get you to share the information. And
you've got one other thing too.
Yeah.
The Canadian dollar is definitely not doing so hot with all the tariffs and the rapid transformation of Canada turning into a third world country hasn't exactly helped things either. But basically, one American dollar right now is $1.40 Canadian. I'm not sure about the pound sterling, the euro, the yen, Swiss franc, etc. But all those trading against the Canadian dollar has so much of a premium right now that if someone in America were to send me $10 right now, that's easily $14-15 in Canada that I could use towards something. So every small portion helps, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, like I said, and some people that don't have me on Facebook right now, that see me on YouTube or the other platforms, I'm open to interviews. I'm open to shows. The only thing I ask, like, I don't want to cheerlead about cast bolts, the SRA, anything fucked up. I don't want to go on like podcasts and start bashing people like us. Other people in the SSP community are currently doing as we speak. I mean, I have issues against the SRA and people actually participate in that shit, obviously, but I'm not going to go out bashing people all that much. And so I don't want to be a part of that if I can avoid it. That's pretty much all my conditions, really.
Yeah.
All that and maybe daytime interviews because I work nights. That's about it.
Yeah. This is good. I mean, it's nearly 1 a.m. here for me. So, and I'll be live again in about 4.5 hours for our morning early AM live. So I'm going to get a little bit of sleep. But this has been so good. Thank you. You shared so much really good stuff today, and we really appreciate it. Everybody's put some great questions in.
The problem is such an issue too. I mean, I remember up there, I just hop in a med bed, get sleep there, and half the time the superior officer would yank me out of the med bed, tell me to go home because I kept on hijacking sleep for med beds in the med bay and holding up precious space. Like, I mean, there's some days out there where I go on for days or weeks at a time, hop in a med bed, and all of a sudden get all my sleep caught up. But they didn't like that either because the med beds would constantly enhance their abilities and stuff too. So they're trying to limit access to the medical bays, and then all of a sudden I would show up there, get my sleep in after being out all night, hop in there for like 30 minutes, get refreshed, and then go right back to work.
Yeah, wow, that would
be amazing. They caught on so fast and ripped me out of those things. I wish I had access to that down here. I mean, imagine the productivity, like how much stuff I could get done if I only had to sleep like 30 minutes a day instead of like like
Yeah.
to suppose 8 or 9 hours is recommended sleep.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, so everyone's saying thank you so much. Lots of good information, much appreciation and respect for you. Appreciate your integrity. Tiffany sent you a PayPal. And so, yes, it's been brilliant. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it.